every man is responsible for his own sins and not responsible for his father's sins or his son's sins. And, a lot of things in the Bible correspond with laws in the Code of Hammurabi and other similar codexes in the ancient Near East. And in the Code of Hammurabi, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember exactly where, it said there is, if, for example, somebody killed somebody's son, so then you can kill his son.
Yeah, that
right?
is.
So
Yeah,
the father of the dead son can kill the son of the other one.
Mhm.
Or if your father sinned, and so on and so forth. And the Torah came and said, no, a man can only be killed for his own sins. Everyone is responsible for their own sins. And this was a real revolution. I'd like to tell you about a book. I actually translated part of it and edited the translation of the entire book. I recommend it. I don't know exactly. I think you can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure. I didn't prepare it, so I don't want to get up now and look for it. It's called The 80 Revolutions of the Bible. And it was written by a gentleman named Amnon Shapira, who passed away. He wanted very much to see the translation. He wrote the book and then he became ill with ALS. He was an elderly man, a Bible scholar and a lecturer in the university on Bible and a lot of other things he did in his life, but that's what's relevant here. And he wrote this book in Hebrew, and then he very much wanted, he was very important for him to have it translated, especially into English. He wanted it in other languages too. But sadly, he didn't live to see the publication. He passed away in the middle of the process. It's a long book, had 80 something chapters. So in the book, he discusses all the things that are revolutionary in the Bible. And this is one of them, just one of many, that this was a new concept. The idea that, for example, Genesis, that Adam and Eve were created, the idea, I mean, you can look at it as a story. You can look at it as something that actually happened. I mean, that's also one of the things he explains in the book, that almost everything in the Bible can be seen on many different levels, and they can all be true at the same time. And you can look at it as a mythology, our Jewish mythology, or it's not actually a Jewish story. It's actually before the Jewish people, many years before 1,000 years before the Jewish people. So it's actually humanity's story, creation myth, as it were, if you look at it as a myth. But the idea is, if we're all descended from one man, that means we all are equal. We're all brothers and sisters. And that is in contrast to, for example, what was happening in Egypt or Mesopotamia and all those places where there was, no noble classes. They were supposedly descended from the gods. So they were always going to be superior to the other types of human beings, various levels, going down to slaves who had no right to life. You could kill your slave, nothing would happen to you. In the Torah, if you harm your slave, you've got to pay restitution or be punished for it. If you kill him, and so on and so forth. These were really revolutionary ideas this is what enabled Western civilization to develop the way it developed, along with Greek culture and so on and so forth. But that is one of the most important founding, or maybe the most important founding principle of the United States of America. We, the people, the Constitution begins by talking about that we believe that all men were created equal. So that's the founding idea. So to say that you inherit sin because you were born this color or that color, or whatever it is, that's the complete antithesis to all Western civilization. That's why wokeism is such a dangerous philosophy, because it undermines Western civilization, and it's turning everything on its head. You remember John Lennon, Imagine? Well, we can see it in front of our eyes now. Imagine there are no borders. We see what happens when there are no borders. We're seeing it happen before our eyes. And it's a horrible thing to see. When somebody says, I love everyone, that means you don't love anyone. Because human nature is, you love your own family, and then you love your extended family, and then you love your own people. And there are levels, and that's how it's supposed to be. If parents don't love their children more, their own children more than they love somebody else's children, something's very wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Something's very wrong. And that, by the way, this is just in parenthesis, the kibbutzim, when they started, it was a Marxist idea, and they had the children, and this was especially true in the very, very, very leftist kibbutzim, because there were also religious kibbutzim where this was much less prevalent. But in the children were raised by the whole kibbutz, and they didn't call their parents mom and dad. They called them by their first names. So this Marxism, one of the goals of Marxism, or rather one of the means of Marxism to destroy the civilization, is to break up the nuclear family. The nuclear family is the most important and most valuable asset that civilization has, because everything starts from there. Everything starts from there.